as India is set to bid farewell to the MiG-21 fighter jet, the MiG-21 Bison is taken off and it's going to land for the last time at the Air Force Station, Chandigarh. Now, what you're seeing on your screens are the live visuals we're getting from the decommissioning ceremony, which is attended by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and also the chief guest, and also the Chief of Air Staff, Air Chief Marshal Amarpreet Singh. Now, for more on this, we're joined by our correspondent Siddhant Sibbal. Siddhant, what can you tell us? And it is an important day for India, and also talk to us about the pivotal role the MiG-21 has played in India's arsenal.
Well, it's a historic day. The Indian Air Force is officially MiG-21, the squadron retires, marking the end of over 6 decades of service for the most iconic and enduring fighter jets in military history. In fact, it was inducted in 1963 as India's first supersonic aircraft, the MiG-21. It was, of course, designed by the Soviet Union. And it basically, at that time, if you talk about the geopolitics of that time, it symbolized a pivotal shift in India's aerial capabilities during the Cold War. In fact, nearly 11,000 units have been produced globally, serving in over 60 countries. But India's fleet of over 870 aircrafts were the largest in many ways. The retirement ceremony, of course, is right now underway at the Chandigarh Air Base. Visuals on your screens right now. And remember that this was the place where the first squadron was based. And we know that its legacy will be remembered several wars as well. In fact, MiG-21 was just more than a jet. It was a national war horse that shaped India's air defense through major conflicts since its induction. It played a crucial role in the 1965 and the 1971 India-Pakistan wars, the Bangladesh Liberation War, of course, in 1971, the Kargil War in 1999, the Balakot strikes as well. And notably, we know that when it comes to MiG-21's role, we can write a book, I can say that, and we can continually talk about it, but there were certain issues as well. The dark side, in many ways, was the crashes we have seen. In fact, it was also nicknamed the flying coffins. In fact, we know that over 400, in fact, around 400 crashes since 1963 claimed lives of 200 pilots, which was basically because of the technical defects, the human error, other issues as well. So off and on, this was making the big headlines as well. But essentially, with all its controversies and histories, today is an important day. We know that the Indian Defence Minister is expected to speak as well. And while the MiG-21 are being retired, we know that India is rapidly modernizing its air fleet, including, of course, induction with new fighter jets as well. But also, MiG-21 in many ways symbolized the India-Russian military ties, the partnership that India is very proud of. We saw yesterday the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi talking about how time-tested relationship it has been in many ways. But in essence, the MiG-21's retirement is a bittersweet milestone celebrating its legendary combat record, while, of course, concerns over the defects and, of course, the need for modernization as well. As the Indian Air Chief has said that in his final sortie, he said that it's time to move on to newer platforms. This is an important transition, an important day for India's military history.
Right, Siddhant, of course, it's a very important milestone today. From 1970 to the mid-2000s, the MiG-21 have seen a lot of milestones, and also the evolving defense strategy of India. And you've rightly pointed out, with the Russia-India ties now being tested again, it's also a testament to the ties and how they've shaped over the years. But as we say, change is the only constant. What kind of changes are we looking at when we're going to reface this now? We know that Tejas is going to play an important role, but what kind of changes are we expecting in the future in India's defense landscape going forward?
Well, India's defense landscape is changing very fast in many ways, and the key pillar has been is the Atmanirbhar Bharat, the Make in India. And for that, India is working on several ways. We saw that how when it comes to the Indian Navy, INS Vikrant is example of that INS Vikrant has been made in a sense that a lot of its components, a good percentage of its components are made in India. Similarly, when it comes to the air defense as well, India is focusing on its own engine as well. So that remains the big focus for India. And in terms of modernization, India is also inducting new platforms as well. So you will see overall India's focus clearly that. In fact, we know that India earlier this year inducted its last Navy ship that was made outside of India. It was made in Russia. And after that, India has made it that policy will be not to induct any naval assets from outside the country, but make in India.
Right, Siddhant, and while we're at it, let's also talk about the major milestones that MiG-21 has seen from 1970. So let's say the 2000s and the major operational challenges that it has faced.
Well, the biggest operational challenges were the crashes associated with the MiG-21, and this is something that was dominating the headline in many ways, and that, of course, was the plot in many ways, which was being talked about, and that is why one of the focus has been on its phasing out. In fact, the retirement marks an end of the era, but it has also been dubbed as a flying coffin due to the frequent accidents as well. If I give you certain stats, something I have already talked about, since its induction in 1963, over 400 of Indian Air Force's MiG-21 have crashed, and that is approximately 40% of the fleet as well. And there have been high pilot fatalities. Almost 200 pilots have been lost. Civilians have died as well in the crashes as well. And this is something that was in many ways a big worry as well. One of the causes was its aging airframes. There were technical failures as well. There were engine failures as well. There were human factors as well. But these are several factors which one can talk about when it comes to the crashes as well. But the high percentage was something that was dominating the headlines. The big focus, of course, is on its phasing out, and that day has arrived. In fact, there was a lot of public and political backlash after the number of crashes as well. In fact, in 2012, the then Defense Minister A.K. Anthony faced questions over the 11 crashes in 3 years, calling for its urgent phase out, which is something that got accelerated as well. Now the focus is on India's own engines as well, and focus is on modernization of the Indian Air Force's air fleet as well. There's a Saffron partnership as well. They focus on the Kaveri revival. There is keenness on involvement of private sector also in the modernization plan of the Indian government.
Absolutely, Siddhant, and the legacy is quite commendable. We know that virtually every fighter pilot in the Air Force will have flown either the original MiG-21 or a variant. But now, of course, today it has come to an end. And wouldn't you say it's quite a poetic end, as this is where the first MiG-21 was inducted in the Air Force in 1963, and now today it has flown for the last time here at Chandigarh again.
Well, yes, you're very right on that part. It was inducted in this place, and it's bidding its way well from this place. We're just waiting for the comment of the Indian Defense Minister. So it's a bittersweet moment, as I said, when it comes to MiG-21's its role in giving India the decisive victories in wars like the 1971 war, the Kargil war, and India's counter-terror operations as well. The number of crashes have been something that has been dominating the big headline for India. There has been public and political backlash over this, focus increasingly on India's own engine as well. MiG-21 has a troubled legacy, I would say, but today the legacy, of course, will be talked about, but also its role in giving that military edge to India at a time when India faces a number of challenges from its neighborhood, whether it is a very belligerent Pakistan over the history, including, of course, its support to terrorism in India, or, of course, other crises as well, including, of course, in the Indo-Pacific. It's a symbol of India-Russia partnership. It's a symbol of India-Russia defense partnership that has not only grown over the years, but continues to remain stable at a time when we know that India's relationship with other countries, including its partners,
Right.
haven't been doing very well.
Of course, Siddhant, it is a bittersweet moment with over 300 crashes and aging airframes. The time has come for the MiG-21 to say farewell and for the Air Force to welcome the homegrown Tejas, the veterans replacement. But for now, thank you so much for getting us all those updates. That was our correspondent Siddhant Sibal joining us on the phone line.
जी हाँ देवी जय हिंद की आवाज जो आपको अभी सुनाई पड़ी इसी जोश के साथ